Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 7. This is going to be my review for episode 15 for this season, otherwise entitled Enemy at the Gates. But of course, if you've not watched the episode, go away. What are you doing? Come back later on, because we're going to be talking about everything that happened in this episode, including all the spoilers, everything like that, all the good stuff. So yeah, go away if you have not watched it. But if you have watched it and you are continuing on with the video, be sure to let me know your various opinions and thoughts and everything like that in the comment section down below. What did you think of the episode? What did you give it out of 10? Or your favorite parts? Everything like that. I'm always curious to read what everyone's thinking of the show. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you enjoyed the episode, why not drop a like on it to show your support and rating, if that's the best way to put it. So last episode, there was nothing overly relevant to this main story that's going on. Like Ultraviolet and Allegra are like reunited, and she's kept in Star Labs, and then Joe's sort of teaming up with Kristen Kramer to deal with a larger issue than their sort of battle that's going on. So putting that aside to team up. And that's about it. There's nothing really that leads into this episode specifically in regards to the main stuff. We do start off the episode with Barry in his lab, and this is definitely one of the more surprising scenes of the season. I was like, oh, okay. So Barry's in his lab doing some scientific mumbo jumbo. Well, at the time, we just think it's scientific mumbo jumbo. When all of a sudden, Nora, not his mum, his daughter, shows up. But of course, that is a dream. But Barry takes that encounter as a signal and sort of a sign that he and Iris are, well, they're pregnant. Of course, we know that they're trying to get pregnant. There's been debate about whether they're rushing it this season, but then again, based off the end of this episode, maybe that doesn't happen. We don't know necessarily if it is actually them rushing and just more planting a seed with some issues along the way, if that's the best way to put it. Now, a lot of you would notice, because it's pretty clear, there's no Iris in this episode, and that's due to Candice Patton, who plays Iris. She actually went back to America. I think it was due to being homesick, because I think she was actually the only actress who didn't have like a loved one up in Canada when they all filmed, and they were stuck there for like 9 months or 8 months or whatever it was. So I think she was the only one that didn't. So she was homesick. She went back to America, but because you have to quarantine and go back to Canada, she couldn't do anything for 2 weeks plus the time that she was in America. So last episode and this episode she's not in. I don't know if she's back next week. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if she was in the promo, but she might be back next week. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, since when did Barry know how to drive? Did he know how to drive before? I can't remember, because I've just seen him running around. And in season 1, he used to catch the bus. And I think in season 2 or 3 as well, we saw him catch the bus again. We didn't have his speed for like an episode, and he had to go back to normal life. So did he get his driver's license, or did he always have the driver's license and just didn't buy a car? Maybe didn't know where to park, didn't want to pay for parking. I don't know, but he's driving now. But yeah, Joe and Kramer, it was set up last episode. They're looking into Adam Crake, whatever his name is, more, who is like an old friend and almost like family to Kristen Kramer from when they were younger. And it's taken them to Midway City, I'm pretty sure it was. So yeah, they only do 2 scenes with this entire storyline. One here, one at the end, and we'll talk about the one at the end of this video. So yeah. But of course, the piece de resistance, is that the best way to put it? Is that the correct terminology? Is Godspeed in this episode. The first episode in the Godspeed arc, and as you'd expect for the first episode in a Godspeed arc, Godspeed arrives in Central City. But oh wait, it's not just one. Initially, it's 2 Godspeeds we see there. So from the get-go, they're saying, hey, you're getting more than you bargained for. Now, Chillblaine actually plays a significant, or not significant, but it has a lot of screen time in this episode. Considering the character, you wouldn't think so. But we see him getting shanked, that's probably the best way to put it, by some other gang-related members. And Frost offers to get him help at Star Labs as long as he does behave and cooperate. And that's sort of how he gets folded into what's happening later in the episode. Now, Cecile goes to meet Barry at work, and I was wondering where the scene was going to go. It sort of just leads around like what Barry's been doing in the episode previously with all the pregnancy stuff and everything like that, and just trying to keep it hidden, keep it a secret, even though he's doing the worst possible job at keeping it a secret. Like, he's just got things out in the open whenever someone shows up. Not doing that well. Like, lock the door. Anyway, Cecile goes to meet Barry at work when all of a sudden the lab is attacked. Now, we don't see it at first. I was surprised. You don't even really see the lightning that much in the scene, but we learn that it's Godspeed that did it. I was sort of surprised that they just didn't clearly show that, or that Barry could sense it. I know he sensed it before, like the windows smashed, but I was surprised that, more didn't happen there, if you know what I mean. But speaking of the Godspeeds, they are causing not just one, not just two, but multiple issues across Central City. But of course, the Flash can't be in multiple places at once, unless like time remnants come back into play. And I saw people saying that on social media, but we know that isn't the best of plans. Like you'd have to leave it to a last resort to really even think about using time remnants. And look, try some other plans before you jump into the time remnant, area. So yeah, unless you want to use them, there's an issue at hand here, and they have to try and fix it. Now, something I wasn't really expecting it to play out like this in the episode was one of the Godspeeds actually has their eyes on the power plant in Central City, and Barry's like, well, what the hell? That's a dangerous area. What's he going to do there? So, of course, Barry's going to go and deal with that. Like, that's a main thing that Barry has to deal with. However, it's a trap for Barry, as an army of Godspeeds surround him and chase him back to Star Labs, where they're able to secure Star Labs itself with a force field, so the Godspeeds can't get in. But of course, the Godspeeds aren't going to give up that easy because they're not real, if that makes sense. They're clones and everything like that. So they're just they have their eyes and they have their targets on one thing, and they're going to get it done, even if it hurts them as much as possible. So they're getting through that force field. It just matters how much time Team Flash has, and we learn that that's about an hour. I think it's about an hour. If it would be longer, it would be forever, I guess, if the Godspeeds weren't punching it, but they were siphoning off the energy, so it's only about an hour of lifetime for that force field. So tick tick, Team Flash, or TikTok, I don't know, one of the two. Now Iris is safe at home. That's like Barry says it multiple times in the episode. He's like, oh, thank God Iris is safe at home. But don't the Godspeeds know that Barry is the Flash? Like we saw last season, one of the clones attack Barry just as Barry in Star Labs, and this episode they attack Barry in his lab at CCPD. So they should know that Barry is the Flash. So in turn, couldn't they go to Barry's house, grab Iris, and use her as bait? Like, I know they're clones and not meant to have like the full intelligence, but like they had enough of a plan to lure Barry into the power plant and then attack him as an army. So am I the only one that was thinking that? I know like Iris technically couldn't be in the episode because Candace wasn't there, but at the same time, like I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm not too sure. Now, Chester comes up with a plan to replicate the noise that the Godspeeds make over Central City, which we've heard since back in, season 6? Was it the first episode of season 6, or are we getting that season 5 episode? No, because that was the futures. That was actually meant to be like the quote-unquote real Godspeed. So, in the first episode of season 6, we've heard that these Godspeeds have like this weird noise. And even at the end of season 6, we had that Godspeed that was talking normally and then sort of like devolved, if you want to call it, and started making those noises again. So we don't have a full explanation of that. Obviously, this is only the beginning of it, so I'm sure we eventually will know what's going on there exactly. But yeah, Chester's plan is to like sort of like replicate that noise over Central City, so they struggle to communicate with each other, which in turn would allow Team Flash to single out the Godspeeds and take them down. Unfortunately, before they can sort of even get close to this plan happening, the Godspeeds do break down the force field around not Central City, around Star Labs, which means Battle Royale Star Labs edition starts. However, when the noise is blasted around Star Labs, that loud, like imagine all over Central City, then it's in this like, inside area, super, super loud. And the Godspeeds can't use their speed, which I thought was interesting. It could be, you could argue, could be, oh, here's a plot hole if they don't use that in a future episode. I guess it matters if like the clones don't get used to it, you know what I mean? Like maybe they could get used to like hearing that noise, or they themselves upgrade and they no longer are affected by it. I'm not too sure. But yeah, when the noise is happening, they can't use their speed, which also allows Frost and Chillblaine to actually help out in the fight and sort of be relevant, though it's short-lived. They get their speed back. But one of the cooler moments was when Barry just sort of goes like, well, I don't know what he says, but he like sort of takes on all the Godspeeds around Central City, which it doesn't go great for Barry when he is ganged on and they start to take some of his speed. And I was like, okay, how the hell is he going to get out of this? When all of a sudden, and this was like, oh, pretty insane, another group of Godspeed show up, like another army. I thought it was like, is this like another from another time or something? Like they traveled earlier. I'm not too sure what was going on there, but it's another group of Godspeeds, the exact same amount. They show up and take on the Godspeeds that were attacking Barry. So it's Godspeeds fighting Godspeeds, and then all of a sudden they just disappear. They just vanish, poof, gone. What the hell? What the hell is going on? And as Barry says, we got a Godspeed civil war going on. So when they said the Godspeed War, we were thinking, okay, it's Team Flash taking on Godspeed, and that's the Godspeed War. No, it's literally a Godspeed War, a Godspeed Civil War, Godspeeds versus Godspeeds. Wow. But anyway, that's really the cliffhanger in regards to that Godspeed storyline, which is going to pick up next week. If you saw the promo, you know that things are heating up in regards to that. But to finish off the episode, Chillblaine does get away, which Frost isn't too happy about, especially after helping him out and pretty much keeping him alive. But here's one thing. Barry does the pregnancy test again with Cecile in tow. She's in company. And he's once again being like, oh, confident, like, yeah, it's going to be a girl. We have this blah, blah, blah. And it comes back negative, which surprised me a lot. And that's what I was saying earlier in the episode. Like, a lot of people were saying, oh, they're rushing it. But I don't know, if it's come back negative now, maybe they're not rushing it. I don't know. But the entire episode, he was treating it as like a positive outcome. Chester apparently is like, oh, yeah, like baby speedster and everything like that. What happens next? We know that Nora and Bart, or at least XS and Impulse, are going to be in episode 17. I mean, when at least Nora came back to, to be in the episodes, the actress Jessica Parker Kennedy obviously filmed that scene to be at the beginning of this episode. So that scene was filmed much later than the rest of this episode. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, they're showing up, so we know they have kids, unless they're from another Earth. I don't know. It'll be interesting. But the end scene was even like a bigger, like, oh, what the hell? Like, where's that going? Is when we have Joe and Kramer on a stakeout looking for Adam Craig. And I'm not going to lie, I was sort of disappointed when this was the end scene. But then with how it ended, I was like, okay, well, let's see how that, follows up. But Kramer is concerned about like what changed Adam and like might change her to break bad and be like a villainous thing, if you want to call it. When all of a sudden the car with Joe and Kramer is blown up by something behind them. It was like a blue light. I couldn't exactly see what it was. But we don't see either of them get out. We see that the doors are open. So both of the doors are open, but we can't see Joe or Kramer. We see the car blow up. It's in flames. Did they get out? Did only one of them get out? Who knows? We'll find out next time, I guess. But overall, this was a solid episode. I didn't even mention like the ultraviolet stuff just because I thought I think if there was one thing that felt really out of place in the episode, it was 110% the ultraviolet stuff. And I think that really shows that maybe that storyline shouldn't have been involved here. I'm fine with it happening, but maybe put it in the beginning half of the season, not around here, because it 100% felt out of place. While the Chillblaine stuff didn't, because they sort of folded it in well enough. But the ultraviolet stuff felt out of place. That was the only part of the episode where I sort of like, you switch your brain down to like minimum concentration, not max when the Godspeed stuff and other stuff's happening, but like minimum when the ultraviolet stuff was happening. I think it's just because it felt a bit out of place. But outside of that, I really enjoyed this episode. Cool stuff's done with the Godspeeds, and I think they set it up well. They've got like a bit of a mystery going on with this war thing. Like, why is that happening? And is it happening across different points in time as well? It'll be interesting, and I can't wait to see where they follow up next week. Next week is the Diggle episode as well, so get excited for that. But yeah, solid episode, enjoyed it a lot, and can't wait to see where it goes. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over in this video. What are your thoughts on the episode? You love it, you hate it? What were your favorite parts? Let me know all of that in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.